"Hey Dad, that's my sister," Emma shouted at the hospital. Her rich father went white with fear. The girl in the wheelchair looked exactly like Emma. After 16 years, his biggest secret was out. Some family members you find by accident. Others you abandon on purpose. Before watching full story, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more stories. "Hey Dad, that's my sister," Emma shouted, pointing at the girl in the wheelchair across the hospital lobby. Richard Blackstone froze in his expensive suit, his face turning white as snow. His 16-year-old daughter Emma was staring at a girl who looked exactly like her, same blonde hair, same green eyes, same facial features. The only difference was that this girl was sitting in a wheelchair, her legs covered by a thin blanket. "Don't be silly, Emma," Richard said quickly, grabbing his daughter's arm. "You don't have a sister. Let's go see your mother now." But Emma pulled away from her father's grip. She had never seen anyone who looked so much like her. It was like looking in a mirror. The girl in the wheelchair was maybe a year younger than Emma, and she was alone, reading a book while waiting near the reception desk. "Dad, I'm serious. She looks exactly like me." "How is that possible?" Emma demanded. Richard's hands started shaking. After 17 years of keeping this secret, his worst nightmare was coming true. He looked around the crowded hospital, hoping no one was watching this conversation. "Emma, please. Your mother is waiting for us upstairs. She just had surgery and needs to see you," Richard said, trying to sound calm. But Emma was not going to give up. She had always felt like something was missing in her life. She was an only child in a huge mansion, with parents who gave her everything money could buy but never seemed to have time for her. Now, seeing this girl who could be her twin, all her questions about feeling alone suddenly made sense. "I'm going to talk to her," Emma announced, walking toward the wheelchair girl. "Emma, no," Richard called out, but it was too late. Emma approached the girl in the wheelchair with a beating heart. Up close, the similarity was even more shocking. They could have been identical twins. "Hi," Emma said softly. "I'm sorry to bother you, but this might sound crazy, but you look exactly like me." The girl in the wheelchair looked up from her book and gasped. Her green eyes went wide with surprise. "Oh my God," she whispered. "You're right. We look like twins." "I'm Emma," she said, sitting down in the chair next to the wheelchair. "I'm Lily," the girl replied. "I'm 15. What about you?" "I'm 16. Lily, can I ask you something? Who are your parents?" Lily's face became sad. "I don't know my father. My mom died last year. I live in a care home for disabled kids now." Emma felt her heart break. "What happened to your legs?" "I was born with a condition that damaged my spine. I've never been able to walk. But it's okay, I'm used to it." Emma looked back at her father, who was standing far away, talking frantically on his phone. Something was very wrong here. She turned back to Lily. "Lily, what's your last name?" "Williams. Lily Williams. My mom's name was Sarah Williams." Emma felt like she had been hit by lightning. Her father had told her many times about a woman named Sarah who used to work for their family when Emma was very young. He always changed the subject quickly when Sarah's name came up. "Lily, I think we need to talk more. There's something strange going on here." Richard finally finished his phone call and walked over to the girls. His face was pale and he looked like he might be sick. "Emma, we really need to go now," he said firmly. "Dad, this is Lily. Look at her. Look at how much we look alike. Don't you think that's strange?" Richard looked at Lily for the first time in 15 years. The last time he had seen her, she was a baby in Sarah's arms. Now she was a beautiful young woman who looked exactly like his daughter Emma. His secret was falling apart right in front of him. "Hello, sir," Lily said politely. "Emma and I were just talking about how similar we look." Richard could barely speak. "Yes, it's very interesting. Dad, what's wrong?" "You look like you've seen a ghost," Emma said, studying her father's face. Before Richard could answer, a nurse came over to them. "Lily, honey, your doctor is ready to see you now." "Okay," Lily said. She looked at Emma with hope in her eyes. "Emma, will you be here when I come back? I'd really like to talk to you more." "Of course," Emma said immediately. "I'll wait right here." As the nurse wheeled Lily away, Emma turned to her father with fire in her eyes. "Dad, tell me the truth right now. Who is that girl?" Richard sat down heavily in a chair, his head in his hands. "Emma, there are some things about the past that are better left alone." "No, Dad. I want to know. Is Lily my sister?" Richard was quiet for a long time. Finally, he looked up at his daughter with tears in his eyes. "Yes," he whispered. "Lily is your sister." Emma felt the world spinning around her. "What? Oh, why didn't you tell me?" "Because I was ashamed," Richard said, his voice breaking. Because I made terrible mistakes and I didn't want you to hate me. Tell me everything. Now. Richard took a deep breath. 17 years ago, before you were born, I was married to your mother, but our marriage was having problems. I had an affair with a woman named Sarah Williams who worked as our housekeeper. When Sarah got pregnant, I panicked. Emma listened in shock as her father continued. Your mother was also pregnant with you at the same time. I begged Sarah to leave town and never tell anyone I was the father. I gave her money to disappear. You threw out a pregnant woman? Emma asked, horrified. I was scared and selfish. I chose to protect my marriage and my reputation instead of doing the right thing. Sarah moved to another city and raised Lily alone. So Lily is my half-sister? Yes. When Sarah died last year, I got a call from the hospital. They had found my contact information in her things. But I was too much of a coward to claim Lily. I let her go into the care system instead of bringing her home. Emma stared at her father with disgust. You let your own daughter go to a care home? While we live in a mansion. I know it was wrong. I know I'm a terrible person. But your mother doesn't know about any of this. It would destroy our family. Our family? Emma laughed bitterly. Dad, our family is already destroyed. You abandoned your daughter. Lily is family too. Richard started crying. Emma, please try to understand. I was young and stupid. I made choices I regret every day. Does Mom really not know? No. She thinks Sarah just quit her job and moved away. She never knew about the affair or about Lily. Emma stood up, her mind racing. Dad, we have to help Lily. We have to bring her home. Emma, it's not that simple. Your mother would leave me if she found out. Our whole life would fall apart. Good, Emma said angrily. Maybe it should fall apart. Maybe you deserve to lose everything for what you did to Lily. Emma, please dash. No, Dad. I'm 16 years old and I can see that what you did was evil. You let your disabled daughter live in a care home while you spent money on expensive cars and vacations. How could you do that? Richard had no answer. He knew his daughter was right. He had been a coward and a terrible father to Lily. When Lily came back from her doctor's appointment, Emma was waiting for her with a plan. Lily, I need to tell you something important. The man with me is my father. His name is Richard Blackstone. Does that name mean anything to you? Lily thought for a moment. My mom used to mention someone named Richard sometimes. She always looked sad when she said his name. Emma took Lily's hands. Lily, he's your father too. You're my half-sister. Lily's face went through a dozen emotions: shock, hope, confusion, hurt. He's my father? But why didn't he ever come to see me? Why did he let me go to the care home? Emma looked back at Richard, who was sitting with his head down. Because he's a coward who was too worried about his reputation to take care of you. Lily, Richard said, finally walking over to them. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for everything. Lily looked at this rich man in his expensive suit, the father who had abandoned her. Were you ashamed of me because I can't walk? No. Richard said quickly. Never. I was ashamed of myself, not you. Then why? Lily asked, tears falling down her face. Why didn't you want me? Richard knelt down next to Lily's wheelchair. Because I was selfish and scared. Because I chose the easy path instead of the right path. Because I'm not a good man. Lily has been living in a care home for a year, Emma said to her father. While we live in a house with 12 bedrooms. That's going to change today. Emma, your mother dash. We'll have to deal with it. Lily is coming home with us. I can't just show up with another daughter. Your mother will ask questions. Then tell her the truth, Emma said firmly. Stop lying. Stop hiding. Stop being a coward. Lily watched this conversation between her father and sister with amazement. She had dreamed for years about meeting her father, but she never imagined it would happen like this. I don't want to cause problems for your family, Lily said quietly. You're not causing problems, Emma replied. You are our family. Dad caused the problems by abandoning you. Richard looked at his two daughters, one raised with every privilege, the other abandoned to struggle alone. Emma was right. It was time to stop being a coward. Okay, he said finally. Lily, would you like to come home with us? Lily's eyes filled with tears. You mean it? You really want me? I should have wanted you 17 years ago. I should have been there when you were born, when you needed medical care, when your mother died. I can't change the past, but I can change what happens next. The drive home was quiet. Emma sat in the back seat next to Lily's wheelchair, holding her sister's hand. Richard drove slowly, trying to figure out how to explain this to his wife. When they arrived at the Blackstone mansion, Lily stared in shock. She had never seen a house so big and beautiful. Emma's mother, Margaret, came to the door wondering why they were so late. "Richard, where have you been? And who is this?" Margaret asked, looking at Lily. Richard took a deep breath. "Margaret, we need to talk. This is Lily. She's my daughter." Margaret's face went white. "What do you mean, your daughter?" 17 years ago, I had an affair with Sarah Williams. Lily is Sarah's daughter. She's Emma's half-sister." Margaret sat down hard on the front steps. "You had an affair? You have another child?" "Yes. And I've been a terrible father to her. Sarah died last year, and Lily has been living in a care home. But that ends today." Margaret looked at Lily, then at Emma, then back at Richard. "You've been lying to me for 17 years? "Yes." "And you let your daughter live in a care home instead of bringing her to us?" "Yes." Margaret was quiet for a long time. Finally, she looked at Lily. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Lily Williams, ma'am." "How old are you, Lily?" 15. Margaret studied Lily's face, seeing the obvious resemblance to Emma. "Are you okay? Do you need medical care?" "I have spina bifida. I can't walk, but I'm healthy otherwise." Margaret stood up and walked over to Lily's wheelchair. "Lily, I'm sorry my husband abandoned you. That was wrong and you deserved better." She turned to Richard with fire in her eyes. "We will talk about this later. Right now, Lily needs a home." Over the next few weeks, the Blackstone family went through massive changes. Margaret was furious with Richard and slept in the guest room. But she welcomed Lily with open arms, treating her like the daughter she had always wanted but couldn't have after Emma. Emma and Lily became inseparable. They were so similar in personality that people often forgot they hadn't grown up together. Lily was smart, funny, and brave despite everything she had been through. Richard worked hard to make up for lost time. He arranged for the best medical care for Lily, converted one of the downstairs rooms into a beautiful bedroom for her, and installed ramps and elevators throughout the house. But the most important changes were emotional. Richard went to therapy to deal with his guilt and shame. He volunteered at the care home where Lily had lived, helping other abandoned children. He also set up a foundation to help single mothers and disabled children. 6 months after finding Lily, Emma made a speech at her school about family and forgiveness. "I used to think family was just the people you live with," she said. "But I learned that real family is about love, not blood. It's about choosing to care for each other even when it's hard." She looked at Lily, who was sitting in the front row. "My sister Lily taught me that being different doesn't make you less valuable. She taught me that strength comes from how you handle difficulties, not from having an easy life. My father taught me that people can change if they really want to. He made terrible mistakes, but he's working every day to be better. Sometimes the worst things that happen lead to the best discoveries." After the speech, Lily hugged Emma tightly. "Thank you for saving me," she whispered. "Thank you for saving our family," Emma replied. Richard, watching his daughters together, realized that finding Lily hadn't destroyed his family, it had completed it. The secret that he had feared would ruin everything had actually brought them closer together. That night, as he tucked Lily into bed, she asked him a question that broke his heart. "Dad, do you wish I could walk?" Richard sat on the edge of her bed. "Lily, I wish you never had to face any challenges. But your wheelchair doesn't define you. Your courage, your intelligence, your kindness, that's who you are." "I'm glad Emma found me at the hospital." "Me too, sweetheart. Me too." A year later, the Blackstone family was stronger than ever. Margaret had forgiven Richard after months of counseling together. Emma and Lily were both honor students who spent their free time volunteering with disabled children. Richard had learned that the hardest thing about having a secret isn't keeping it, it's living with the knowledge of what you've done wrong. But he also learned that it's never too late to choose love over fear, family over reputation, and truth over lies. On Lily's 16th birthday, Richard gave her a special gift, adoption papers making her officially a Blackstone. "You were always my daughter," he told her. "Now the whole world will know it too." Lily cried happy tears as she signed the papers. She finally had the family she had always dreamed of, and they had the sister they never knew they needed. Looking back, Emma realized that the best day of her life had started with 3 simple words: "That's my sister." Sometimes the biggest blessings come from the most unexpected places, and sometimes the families we need most are the ones we find by accident.